Prof here, and I'm a dum-dum, but you guys already knew that. Well, you gotta check out before I even show you what this video is about. Paisley Marie, what do you have? Is that a plastic bag? Yeah, where'd you steal that from? That's her new favorite toy, guys. Look. New favorite toy. I was playing with her with it last night. Can you tell? Is it your new favorite toy? Huh? You wanna see something funny? She got another one out. Yep. Well, we gotta clean this off a bit here so that we can get this going. What is this video actually gonna be about for those watching here? Well, I finally bought almost only aftermarket, only easily accessible, non-Japanese language orderable cables for the Sony MDR-M1ST, specifically balanced cables. You can get non-balanced cables. This is what we'll actually be looking at here. Oh, we got some more stuff here we can take a peek at. And that's what's in here. I used up one of my last speakers. So I bought a pack of like 30 for like $10 on Amazon. These are just the ones that go, the piezoelectric speakers for PCs for troubleshooting, where it just goes beep, 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 beep. They're beep, chirp, chirp, you know, like that sort of stuff. Ran out of some bigger sizes of heat shrink when I was working on my car. Also, on the car, you really want the waterproof heat shrink that's got the hot glue in it. So, this should be the dual wall hot glue stuff. Yeah, here. 3-to-1 adhesive line, flame retardant, dual wall. So that's the good stuff. You always get the 3-to-1 as well. Normal stuff that you get in the store, like the Home Depot. And here. This is Paisley's new toy. Paisley, what's right here? What's this? You know what's it? I was watching a movie and we played fetch. Yes, the kitten played fetch. I want to say I threw that like the entire time through the hour and a half or 2 hours I was watching the movie. Yeah. Oh, are you bringing it back? Are you bringing me back the thing? Yeah. Yeah, you are. Can I throw it? Can I throw it? There you go. We might be playing fetch during this video, guys. Okay. So, here's this other bag from Amazon. What do we got in here? Let's get a knife. Would you bring it back? Peasy Piz? Come here. Take it. I'm not sitting on the couch, so she doesn't know where to bring it back to. Yeah? Because normally, you know, like when I was sitting and watch a movie, she would just sit back down on my lap, plop it in my lap, and I'd throw it again. I don't know why she's picking that up as a thing that she likes now. Because she normally likes those little mousies, like the little pom-pom mousies. So I bought this. This is also a speaker made in China. It's an 8 ohm, 0.5 watt, 2-inch diameter. So this is what the old school, and this looked very, very similar to me, to the old school style. Like we're talking like Pentium 2, Pentium 3 style PC speaker. Like, you know, back when it was actually a speaker, not just a piezoelectric buzzer. And these are hard to find. I bought a batch of these off of eBay used. And as far as I can tell, oh, that's got a chunk out of it. Oh, I'll have to test it works. The magnet's got a chunk out of it there. This is like what you used to use for a That's right. Here you go. I don't know if you heard. She went flying over the bed. Let's go and get it. This is what you used to use, like a Pentium 2 up through Pentium 3. I wouldn't say too much in the Pentium 4. Like you started seeing them disappear from cases around then. I'm like 99% sure this is a used product though, because around the solder leads, it's worn, and it's got the chip out of it. I'll have to see. Maybe I bought an open box one. Either way, we'll test it out and see if I can use it, because I prefer to use these. The tone is much nicer. And depending on the motherboard, you can actually even use this for a speaker in a pinch. Like, if you ever heard those mini PCs where you can actually, like, they have like a speaker internally, and unless you plug in a pair of headphones, they at least make some amount of shitty noise without even a monitor or a speaker plugged into it. That's what you're hearing is essentially one of these. Might be like cone shaped instead of like this, but this is the classic. This 8 ohm 0.5 watt is kind of like the classic speaker. So I'll have to wire one up to one of those speaker connectors over there and give it a shot. If this does work, I now have a source because these are just on Amazon, as are these, like 30 for $10 if not less. So, and most people don't even want speakers for their things. Cases used to always include a speaker if they didn't have one built in, but that's been out of fashion for a long time nowadays. So the stash I've been going through that you guys have seen me putting these in on motherboards, because for some reason the AM5 motherboards don't have, they have like a couple diagnostic LEDs, but they don't have like a postcode readout, which they really should. Now I've always liked having speakers on mine, but like nowadays with AM5 boards, you have to have it on there unless you have a really high-end AM5 board. Oh, are we bringing it back, Peasy? Yeah, you're gonna drop that? Where are you going with it? Oh, she's got one claw left. That got me real good. Oh, dang cat. How do you have one claw and you still get me, huh? Yeah. I gotta get that last claw cut on her. So, like I said, I'll give this a shot. If it is, I'll probably order a couple more just to have them on hand, and I'll make up speakers as I need them. Or if I have the soldering iron and materials and wires out, I'll just, slap a couple together as I have time. These weren't cheap either. Like, these are a couple bucks a piece. I used to be able to pick them up on eBay, like a pack of them, or like a batch of them for an amount of money. I don't remember exactly how much, but like I just buy a whole bunch of them. But I have not been able to find like this 8 ohm 0.5 watt. Some of them are 0.25 watt, I want to say. You can get like 1 watt and multiple watt ones. Those are more in like the HP and Dell pre-builds. Like not the micro PCs, but the mini PCs, and are acting as your actual speaker, like I was just talking about. Like a lot of those are a little bit louder. It's not the classic. I don't know. I just got memories of the classic tone out of one of these. Little paper cone tweeter. You had to knock my notebook on the floor, didn't you, Paisley Marie? Didn't you? So you wrecked my pages. This is an almost new notebook. Yeah, she's crazy. Crazy for that. Oh, you're bringing it back, the bag? You bringing it back? Oh, you're gonna run away with it. Okay. If you watched a recent video of mine, you would have seen I bought some new lithium-ion batteries, and then they didn't fit. Was sad. Because I bought ones with Type-C plug on them. Thought it would be useful. I mean, it would be if they fit in my headlamp. So I just reverted back and bought the same ones I always buy. Keep off of Illumin.com. Keep Power 18650 3500 milliamp hour. And these are the ones I think they do 8 or 10 watts max. I think I need 5 for my headlamp or something like that, continuous. So, nothing too crazy. Just like these I've bought these many times. I just need some more because I have some more devices that use 18650s and more headlamps, more other things. And I was down to only 1 extra. What that means is like I only had 1 charged on hand. So when my headlamp died and I wanted to swap it, I only had 1 bat. Now I'll have 2 more. I do label all of my batteries with the date they go, like a number, you know, just to track what number they are. So if I lose one or lend one out, I'll know what it is, where it is. So I put a number on them, and they also track when they were purchased or when I started using them. That way, because usually with a lithium-ion battery under like regular use, like kind of like a thing, like a laptop, right? You're looking at a 20% loss over 2 years. Now, I'm not saying we're going to hit that with these because I don't know if I use them that readily. But here's another thing I found is, generally speaking, if you got a battery that's like, it seems like, oh, it dies really quick, and you look at the date on it, and it's 5 years old or older, it's probably just time to get a new battery. But the only way to know that is to have dates on them, right? I did that. I started doing that originally with all my power tool batteries, and as I've had the Armitech Wizard, I only have the V2. I really wish, if anybody out there has an Armitech Wizard V1, I believe there's like they went with years before they went with versions. Like there's a 2014, and then there's a V1.5 as well. Obviously there's a V1 too. I don't even know where to even look for those. Even used, I'd be interested as long as they're not torqued. You know, just to have, because I have every other one. But ever since then, I've had a V2 whenever that launched, or shortly after that launched. I learned about it, and it was the only headlamp that. Nowadays, there's probably a couple that would meet my requirements, but back then, only headlamp that would meet my requirements. And realistically, I could use my V2 to this day in and day out. It's just they've made better ones, and as they've made better ones, I've upgraded. And then you kind of just, oh, you keep the extra one. Oh, she wants me to throw it. She brought it over. Cat that plays fetch. Apparently, my mom had one that did this. Yeah? You playing fetch with me? It's pretty cute. Yeah. And yeah, so, and I just throw like, I now have one in the basement, one upstairs. I've got enough. I got one in the tool bag upstairs. I got one in the tool bag in the car. No, or is it in my backpack that's in the car? Either way, it's in the car for doing like, you know, like repairs, like especially when I was in server rooms and stuff. A lot of those can be dark, or if you're getting, you know, at least something to see. You know, you just kind of, when you have more than one, and early on one was like $100-something bucks. Like it was less than $200, but still that's not insignificant. You gonna drop it? Holy jeez, she really goes at this stuff. You're bringing it back again. You can bring it here? Can you have it? And it's still, like I said, it still works. But because I like that so much, I've upgraded as they've come out with different models. There's certain ones I wouldn't recommend having a bunch of them now. Check out some of my other videos on them. Let me know if you have suggestions. My favorite by far is the Polish one. However, being that it's only available through Armitech Poland, and you can't swap out parts on it because there's like not replacement stuff, I'm almost hesitant to use it. I mostly only use it in the house. Just because it's like, if I get I mean, I've even put a Skill Hunt band on my favorite one, which is the Nichia 3000 Kelvin model. Because the Skill Hunt headband is actually way more comfy. I agree with the internet. So, but yeah, that's why I have these. I also don't prefer to charge in the headlamp if I can avoid it. I do that for my work one. I do have the ability to do that there in case it dies on site or something like that. But for the most part, I would rather just take a fully charged battery, kind of like a power tool. Why would you want to wait for your power tool to charge? You just slap a new bat in there, you know? It's not a bad thing to be able to charge it in the power tool or be able to charge the battery itself separately, you know, without a charger, that sort of thing. But charger is always the quickest and most reliable and healthiest for the battery. And the quickest way to get your headlamp charged up is obviously just swap. It's like how do you fill up your car? You don't like put a little bit of gas in. You just empty it and fill her back up. Paisley, yeah, can I throw that? You gonna let me? Yeah, you can see the paw, guys. If you can't see the paw here, this is obviously the paw with the claw still. You're not gonna let, you want to play fetch? Let me throw it. You're bringing it here, obviously. Drop it. I know you're not a dog, so you can't say drop. But, like... Cats. Cats, I tell you. Alright, so this... Fragile, Japanese there. Indeed. Well, the Sony MV1 is now available outside of Japan. Even I ordered it on launch. You guys haven't seen my video on the Sony MV1, which is their open back. Sony finally made an open back pair of headphones after many, many years. And it's basically, it's an open back version of, in my opinion, one of their best headphones, the M1ST, which is the M1ST is the spiritual successor to the CD900ST, which is the Japan exclusive version of the MDR-V6/7506, which you may know. Those are very, very common studio monitoring headphones. You'll see a lot of like audio guys, vocal guys using those even to this day. It's a very well-known, very standardized headphone. Most of the Japanese, I think it's like 80+%. I forget the exact thing, but that's like literally the Japanese recording standard includes basically two different microphones, and then the CD900ST headphones. And the M1ST is what replaces that. That is still made in Japan. You gotta drop the bag, kitten. I can't throw it if you don't drop it. It's like she wants to play, but she won't drop. No, I'm not gonna. You guys saw my hand. I'm not. No, you can't just whack at me. You gotta drop this. Kitten. Paisley, yeah. Drop it. You don't know what to do because you won't drop it. Yeah, I can't throw it if you don't drop it. See, she wants me to throw it, but and she's bringing it right back. You gotta drop it though. I think it's because I'm sitting in a weird spot, like I said. So what is in here is CD900ST became M1ST. Some people, I don't think it's still universally accepted, but still, like that's their replacement. I'm sure over time it'll be adopted. I think it's like Sony finally made a better headphone. It sounds better and is more comfortable, especially with the Axi pads, than the original from the 90s. I think technically late 80s for the MDR-V6. So late 80s, early 90s is when, MDR-V6, etc. I think CD900ST is actually like refined a little bit later, specifically for the Japanese market. A or a straight cable, longer cable, non-removable. Also, they made it non-folding because I have also personally found the folding hinges to break. Also, in studio, you don't need them to fold because they're not a portable headphone. She very much wants to drop the bag for me to throw it, but then she won't let me get it. So M1ST replaced that. Then, finally, for the first time, I think ever, Sony, maybe outside of their mastering headphones, which are in the thousands of dollars. Yeah, I dropped it. Yeah, there you go. I got it. Holy jeez. Kid makes a mess of everything. Yeah. Then they came out with the MV1s, which is Sony's open back. They call it their like Atmos whatever headphones. I forgot the M1STs at work. I actually told David, hey, I'm gonna bring these home for this unboxing for you guys. And then I'm like, I'm gonna forget them, aren't I? And I did, because I use them as my work headphones because they're closed back. And then at home, ever since, the other reason why I bring the M1STs to work is, turns out I listen to more headphones at work than I do at home because I can listen to nice speakers at home. Because I don't live in an apartment. So these right here are the MV1s. They look very much like the classic, like 7506. They went with teal instead of with the red because that's Sony's professional line. In the US is with the teal. You'll find that, like I said, on the 7506. Whereas in Japan, you'll find like the digital branding, and they're like studio branding is red. But this is launched as it's a Japan US. It's in certain markets. It might be Europe as well, but these are like sold as their like Atmos studio headphones rather than their like monitoring closed back headphones. However, both of these, both the M1STs and the MV1s, as I have cat butt in my picture. Yeah, you bring me the bag. Can I throw the bag? No. Ay, kitten. So both of these can do balanced audio. Like they have some more prosumer, high-end consumer headphones that could also do balanced audio because they have their, like, especially in Japan, they have their even outside of Japan they have it, but they have their high-end digital players. A lot of those have balanced outputs to them. So like their Walkman series. I think they're still called Walkmans. But it's their, like their digital players essentially. So with those, they did sell the this cable here, which is a better option for me for how I use it at my computer. This is specifically the 4.4 millimeter, and then on this side it's a 3.5 millimeter full 4-pole. By default, you get a 4-pole 3.5 millimeter to a 1/4 inch on both these and the M1STs. Slightly different cable between the two of them, but a very robust. It's got like grooves on it. Like you can tell, this is something that's gonna like hold up to wear. Right. The other thing is because it's like a studio pair. Often studio headphones have non-removable cables. In this case, they went with a screw-on locking cable, right, instead of a non-removable cable. Because that way, if it does break, you can just replace the cable rather than having to repair the headphones and like remove the cable and resolder it, etc. Hey, kitten, what do you want? Oh, come on. Yeah. Are you gonna sit here on my shoulder while we do the video? Yeah? No, you're not going to sit? Come on. Well, here's a plastic bag. You want to throw that? Yeah, she wants to throw. She flies, guys. Flies. Here's the issue. Is this length is better. I did eventually end up buying this because it's like a 1.3 or 1.2 meter cable. I did end up buying this in the 3.5 mil as well, so that way I could plug it into my iPod. Yes, iPod. And other devices like that with a shorter cable, so I don't have like a big studio like coiled or uncoiled cable to deal with. This is much better length for me for a lot of my stuff. However, I'm gonna have to stop and restart to get. As I said, I'm gonna have to stop and restart this to get into the background. You can see all the discoloration on this end, like the gold plating is like coming off. I've never had a high-end cable. By the way, this cable is like $150, the balanced one. And to be truthful, the 3.5 mil ain't much cheaper. I think it's still over $100. And you can see all the wear on that, where that's wearing out. However, it's even worse on this side, where this is the 3.5 mil 4-pole, where this normally would screw in, and this, because it's actually for a different line, it's for the more the like not prosumer, but like say audiophile line, right? It doesn't screw in because this like indent here actually like snaps up into like a little kind of like part that sticks out, right? However, you can see, and this cable mostly lived in the M1STs, and now that I have the MV1s at home, the balanced one goes with MV1s. The soundstage, the Sony MV1s are realistically the only thing for me personally that has come anywhere near my R70Xs. And yes, I know there's like headphones that are thousands of dollars, but for the most part, I've always stuck to $200-ish headphones. And then I have a couple that are kind of like 300 plus. I've never hit the $600, like price point, because that's 3x. Like say for a pair of Beyerdynamic DT1990s or 1880s or 17. I don't know if they're 1770s, but you got to hit like the $600 price point. And then realistically, from my experience, once you like kind of get up into above this range, which is like the $300 to maybe $500 range, but like like $350, $400, you start getting more into like your taste is what, like like, oh, you like the sound of these headphones better, not that they are more accurate. That's how a lot of audiophile stuff gets after a certain point. Paisley, I'm trying to shoot a video. Yeah. Where's your bag? It's right here. Your bag's here. Jesus! Holy crap, she took off. You're gonna wreck stuff like that, kitten. Holy jeez. Yeah, you're gonna wreck stuff. Yeah, but these are the only ones that have really, like, I think, ever since, like, Critical had his website and he's rated the R70Xs higher, people have taken them more seriously, but realistically, and the R70X is getting harder and harder to find. I actually ended up picking them out for somebody when they were looking at early Audio-Technica gaming headsets, because, like, one of the streamers they watched used them, but then they were going to get a dedicated mic. I'm like, why are you buying a headset when you have a dedicated mic, right? Oh, and for those I was wondering, this is my second pair. I did have one pair go bad. I forget what exactly about it was. I just immediately bought a second pair, and that was like while I was working at Best Buy. Because I've had these for many years. These have been perfect. Since then, on my other pair, I actually put like red and blue tape on the side, so I knew which was sides right and left. In this case, I have a custom cable that has that. This cable's from Audio Sound. I found them because they were one of two companies on all of the internet that would make a custom balanced cable for the Audio-Technica R70Xs, because they have a particular connector that's fairly uncommon, at least at the time. This is my second cable from them. I still have my first cable, and they even repaired it for free once. The first cable was using a much stiffer wire for the cable, and then it went to XLR because 4.4 mil balanced connector was not really a standard thing yet back then. So they made me an XLR cable, and then they actually offered to even re-put a different end, like put the 4.4 mil on my old cable, but I kept it because I do have some DACs and amps that do bounce, but only with XLR, so then I can use them here. And I got this really nice one. You might have seen that on. It's like a green maroon braid, really nice. They found some really low profile ones. These don't lock in like the original ones I had, but they're much shorter, which I actually prefer, because what happens is these will dig in your shoulders when they're out like that far. So it's actually better, even though they don't lock in. And it does allow them to twist, which what that means is there's a little bit less strain on the cables when that happens. Because before, if it would twist, it wouldn't unlock, right? It would just like kind of mess with the cable. And on the stiffer wires on the previous cable, that would kind of cause issues. But yeah, so like the MV1s for open back are the kind of like the, and I knew that would happen because I was like, after working from home for a number of months, I was kind of like, you know what I really want is if Sony made the M1ST but open back, right? And seriously, I want to say not but a week later, they announced it. And I was like, holy, bought them immediately. And they were like just available on B&H or Amazon. I think I bought mine on B&H. Also bought, these are not considered rare. You would have seen these in my NV1 video. But Sony 7520s. This was the US and EU replacement for the 7506 and the MDR-V6. They literally never even attempted to release this in Japan. And if you look, it's because the outside looks so different. So even if sound signature wise it might be similar, Japan would have never accepted this because it looks nothing like what they were replacing. And you know, like they get in their ways, just like any place, but Japan especially can kind of like get stuck. And they will not adopt something, even if it performs completely better in every way. They will not adopt it purely because it, like, their entire market is established with a certain product, and it makes sense to an extent. And they will not adopt something else, even if it's better in every way, just because it doesn't meet, like, people are used to a certain thing. That's why the M1ST looks so similar to the MDR-V6 / CD900ST, etc. To meet that, and that's kind of where this is. I love my M1STs. Like I said, I use them at work every day that I am physically at work, and I noticed I just listen to music more physically at work. Now that I've been in less, I was thinking about bringing it back, especially with working from home. I'm at a temporary setup in the basement. I actually do use headphones more because I don't have room for my full studio monitors. But then around, like I said, I'd been bringing the M1STs back and forth. Greekia is the only one that makes a case for it. They fit perfectly. I think it's Greekia, but it's actually a really nice quality case. And they fit perfectly. I was bringing them back and forth, and around that time, I'm like, yeah, you know, it'd be like really nice because at home I like to have the more airy feel of the open back if they would make an open back. Well, they did. That's the MV1. I know we're burying the lead here of what is in this. Well, remember I showed you how this was incorrectly wearing. Or not incorrectly wearing, but like wearing, but not incorrectly wearing, but like wearing on the normal 4.4 mil, like where it plugs in, but then especially, and I reached out to Audio Sound. If you saw that the 7520 also had a custom cable, that is also by them. I worked with them to get that created. Sadly, because they're in the UK and the EU and they were still in the EU. Back when that was like a relevant product, the EU said like the SPL at like normal consumer levels was too great. Like basically the headphones were too sensitive. So Sony ended up basically moving it to just being able to be sold at least in the EU in like music shops and basically as professional equipment. When they essentially wanted that to be like the MDR-V6 replacement, which is the like consumer, prosumer headphone. Yeah, like where you're gonna market both to the consumer market and the professional market. And they had slightly the 7510 as well as a cheaper version, nowhere near as good. Doesn't have the magnesium cups, among other things. Like nothing special about that one. It was actually very similar to some existing consumer audiophile headphones at the time. But they couldn't do that. So then what they got left with was the U.S. And the U.S. for audio is no longer a big enough market. Like Japan's its own market. EU probably could have been its own market. But the U.S. alone, especially for like they're trying to get a new line, like the 7510, 7520, that style like into the market and adopted the same way the V6 and the 7506 were, and it just wasn't gonna happen. So it just got canceled. So sadly, like I said, I got a custom cable made for it. It's also a screw-on connector, but instead of a balanced, it's only a 3-pole, not a 4-pole. I think it's Switchcraft makes a connector that fits that beautifully. They were able to get that, make a cable. I think maybe 2, 3, 4 at most other people bought it from them because they were at that point the only people making custom cables for the 7520. I mean, it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't a very common headphone. But also Sony only ships those with like the world's longest cables. They're for studio use. You know what I mean? Makes sense. Either when you're on the microphone, having it go to the monitoring, recording area, or if you're in the actual studio and doing the work, you want to be able to roll around in the chair, lean back, etc. That's not how I use them though. I still have the cables. Obviously, I don't get rid of them. But I don't need 18 feet of cable in order to sit like my DAC is right here. Like, as in, there's cat butt, DAC's here, I'm right here. I don't need 18 feet to go that far. If anything, I'm going to roll over with my chair and break the cable. So they helped out with that. In this case, I reached out to them for the 75, or for the M1STs, which I knew didn't have an answer, right? But then when the MV1s came out, I was like, since this headphone is available in more markets, like mainly speaking, the U.S. is just purchasable. Like U.S. guys in the U.S. can go and buy this, and just buy it. Japan has it. I was gonna look it up on my phone, and I'm looking for my phone when I don't have it because you guys are being recorded on the phone, obviously. Yeah, so they list these as reference monitor headphones. They announced them at NAMM 2023 in Anaheim, California. Doesn't say here where they, but it's basically designed for their 360 virtual mixing environment. So their 360 audio that's supposed to compete with Atmos and compete with Apple's spatial audio. Holy crap, Kitten. You're crazy. You're definitely gonna wreck things. hand, but not letting me get it. Holy cheese! Kitten! I need to stop throwing that for you. You're literally just destroying things. Kitten. You want this? Alright. Yeah, so it looks like worldwide, because I just saw a release on India that was available a little bit later, like in July. I think early on it was just US and Japan. Might have been US, Japan, EU. You don't have to quote me on that. It was announced in the US, though. Like, these are more of a US market headphone. You can tell also they're not Japan only, because Japan loves to do stuff like the M1STs are still made in Japan. Whereas these are, if I recall, made in... where is it located on these? I swear it said like right on here. Maybe it was when I had them apart, but normally they have to put made in wherever much more obviously on them. Oh, by the way, here's the other thing that you can tell. The US branding on this uses silver for the Sony, whereas Sony's professional products in Japan use white. And if you look at the MDR-V6s, those are red with the white label, and the 7506s, which is kind of like what this is replacing because it's hitting more like the US, more consumer-focused market, even though it's really just for the like the more movie editing side of things rather than the... What are you meowing about? Paisley, I don't have anything. Yeah, I don't know where you put your... Here, this is it. She was grumping at me thinking I stole her bag, even though... Yeah, are you grumping at me? Yeah, so it's following the 7506 marketing, like US branding, which was like ended up being a more like the professional version of the MDR V6 in the US, whereas in Japan it went to the CD900ST. So long-winded story there. Basically, I wanted custom cables for both the M1ST since that came out. Knew that was going to happen. Ordered this cable, and then later even ordered the 3.5mm version of this cable. Yes, I know I can run an adapter off of this. In fact, here is a 4.4mm to 3.5mm adapter I was using. It just gets bulky. When you're just listening to an iPod, you don't want bulky. You just want, you know, plug in and go. And I could easily carry both cables in, you know, the little Greekia case which is, by the way, still the same case. Even though it's easily available in the US, that's still the same case sold in Japan for the M1STs. Very interesting. I wanted, especially once the MDR-MV1s came out, and yes, I even have my mod mic wireless attached on there, because that's how much I use these. I use it for everything. If you got any good headphones, why not? By the way, these are so, that's the only thing about M1STs. They're so freaking light, and same thing with MV1s. Like, they feel like nothing on your head, especially with these big cushions. Watch my videos on both of those. They're both pretty amazing. Well, turns out, well, if these are going to be Japan's newest headphones, especially the M1STs, somebody in Japan is going to make a, like, you know, like the Yaxi pads. Those come out of Japan as well, and those are basically the only reasonably, I shouldn't say only, but people have been modifying like MDR-V6s and 7506s for a long time. And they've been just throwing kind of like random pads that kind of fit on there. Realistically, I'm not going to say the first, but one of the first to actually come out with good pads. I even know musicians, like they're sold in stores in Japan, like to the point where with a Yaxi pad, you'll go to like a musician store and they'll have CD900 STs, and right next to them, the blue and red Yaxi pads. And like, I forget who it was. Who was the guitarist to the drummer from, I think it's Galneris, which is like, they're like a prog rock band. They're like, yes, I know it affects sound quality, but they're just way more comfortable. Couldn't agree more. So like, if it's a product that Japan uses, like Japan loves the car modifying scene as well. So if it's a product that Japan uses and there isn't a stock, they like going stock. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. But if there isn't there, or even if it is stock, if it's a very popular product, there will be a very large modding scene. So it turns out one of the like most world-renowned connector for audio stuff or audio gear is in Japan. So one of, like, I don't know if one of the brands, but a brand of aftermarket cable reached out to them because, like I said, the hard part is getting this connector, this 3.5 millimeter, 4.4 millimeter, or 3.5 millimeter 4-pole connector. Should be like, that connector is normal. Why do you keep saying it's hard to find? This isn't the correct one. It needs to screw on. We've been over this. There's a screw hole in there, right? Nobody makes that. And if you're like, well, Elliot, you keep saying nobody makes it. What are these then? Exactly. This is a brand called, I think it's Wagnus. Wagnus. Yes, Wagnus. Those are some ridiculously expensive cables. Like, as in, the cable is as expensive. You're on my keyboard, kitten. The cable, one of those cables, is as expensive as what you can get a pair. This is also kind of crazy stuff in Japan. A lot of times accessories are as much or more than the freaking pair of headphones. So a pair of M1STs is about $200. The MV1s are about $400. These are about, what is it, 200 something bucks? 225, let's say. Not in current exchange rates. The US dollar is doing very good right now. But standard in Japan, you know, comparing, it'd be 22,500 yen, and a pair of M1STs. If my computer would go. Please go. So going rate for a pair of M1STs currently is 25,000 yen. I know, kitten, you want to sit in my lap and get pets and stuff. We're making a video for the guys in the YouTubes. Yeah. So yeah, going rate on there is, I don't even know if that's MSRP or not, but, you know, 25,000 yen. I got mine for significantly less. I think like 19 or 18,000 yen when I bought them. And I was even a couple months late to the release. But let's just say, okay, in yen terms, these aren't actually more than the current going rate of an M1ST. They are almost as much, right? And what is so special about them? Well, like I said, it is the fact that these have, not only do they have the locking 3.5, like the big thing is they have the locking, screw-on locking, 4-pole, 3.5 millimeter connector. That is specifically made for them by another company. I don't even know if I can find it. I did all of this research because I was trying to get the audio sound to make it. Hannbai, made by To-pura Hannbai. Now, if you look up them, they're actually a very well-renowned audio connector brand, even like just electronics connector brand. Like they make custom ones all the time. I think they made some stuff for F1 teams. It's crazy. So what ended up happening is Wagnus went to them and was like, "Hey, we want a connector that can plug into the M1ST." Now, this is before the MV1 even existed, and they came out with these cables. There's the VOSTOK, I don't know, VOSTOK, and the Progress. This is 22 gauge wire, silver plated. That's silver plated oxygen free copper, and this is 24 gauge silver plated oxygen free copper. This is going to be a thinner cable, possibly lighter, but probably going to be stiffer from my experience. And then this is going to be might be softer, a little bit thicker wire, possibly heavier. Because remember, as gauge goes down, the thickness goes up. So I've been lusting after these. I've been actually trying to get the connector, and I found somebody selling these connectors because you can buy them as just connectors. But generally speaking, like, well, finding someone who will send you just the connector outside of Japan is a tough thing, especially for somebody who doesn't know Japanese, especially for somebody who needs to get it out of Japan and into the UK, where they have import duties and not tariffs, whatever, customs stuff. And I don't know how much the connector is going to be until I order it, and I don't know how much shipping is going to be until I order it. And a lot of places, by the way, charge you customs on both the item plus shipping. It depends on the place. Also, for a lot of stuff to get it out of Japan, you have to pay taxes and fees and shipping, and you have to declare all of it now, ever since 2021, or mid 2021. So what it ended up being is getting these actually would have been really, really hard to do. I would have had to go through a forwarder. Maybe not really, really hard, but I would have had to go through a forwarder. And these are, no, I'm not going to say custom, semi-custom. They're like a small, like a boutique audiophile brand from within Japan. But it turned out CD Japan, which I used to get, turns out CDs, anime, Blu-rays, etc. They also do other items. And this was not even through their proxy service, which they'll do like third-party sellers through CD Japan, and that's their proxy service. No. These are items. These were listed on, and I'm guessing it's because they're like this is the only official cable, not official even. It's not Sony official, but like fully supported, balanced cable or correct balanced screw-on 3.5 millimeter connector for the M1STs, and they're popular outside of Japan because those are like the new Sony monitoring headphone. And then now, especially with the MV1, like these are the cable that is compatible because they I don't know if they necessarily paid to get the connector designed and developed. I've only seen some other cables that generally they get the connector, but they don't get the other end, which is the other important part, and that is the 4.4 millimeter balanced. A lot of people will actually chunk off the Sony cable, cut it to whatever length they want, and then solder on, because they'll use the other end of the Sony cable, because that's the one you can't get, right? and they'll modify a Sony cable and use the connector that goes into the headphone on the Sony cable end, chop it off, and then put it to whatever length and solder on another connector. So it's like, this is like the one that I know of that I could find, and I did a lot of research, as did Audio Sound. Like, he helped me dig through stuff, and he found some stuff that I couldn't find. Then I actually found the OEM that makes these connectors. Specifically, this end is what we're looking for. Like, you can use any 4.4 millimeter. Now, it is nice that they're matchy. But getting just the connector, which there are places to do that in Japan, most of which were out of stock. Other ones were like, I don't want to say a blog, but like very similar. Like, they're like a very niche. And Japan still has a lot of that culture where it's like people running their own like shitty 90s websites that are actually like doing services for communities. However, I don't know Japanese. I can deal with companies a lot of times because I can send it to the forwarder and they'll just ship it there, and then my forwarder deals with it. I use Tenso. You guys might have used their buying service called Bai as well. In this case, though, these are on cdjapan.co.jp. So I was able to order one. And you're like, why'd you order two? You don't even know if you like it, blah, 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 blah. No, well, it's the only cable. So it's not a matter of liking or not liking. It's a matter of, this are my options. I bought the 150 centimeter options. I think 150 centimeter. Yeah, 150 centimeter, which is slightly longer than this. I think these are like 120 or 130. Or like, I think Ghost says like 1.2. And I've noticed that this thing, I've actually tugged on it a couple times. You can actually see where it's bending right there from getting a little bit of stress. So that extra length isn't gonna be bad. And then I'm like, okay, if I'm ordering them, I don't know which one of these I'll like, but I have two pairs of headphones. Both need a cable. One for the M1STs, one for the MV1s. Also with the blue. I'm probably going to end up with the 24 AWG on the MV1s because the Professional has that teal blue. This is not a teal blue, but it's a blue. And the black on black cable right here, the Progress, that's probably going to go on the MV1, on the M1STs. Because it matches the thing. Now, it may be different once I get these opened and try them out on the actual headphones here. We shall see. If you saw me, I was actually taking photos because I can't take photos with the Pixel because you guys are currently being recorded on it, so it'd be very hard to use that to take pictures. So we're actually using the iPhone SE, which has my Japanese SIM in it, to snap some of these pictures here. And yeah, Wagnus authenticated cable. Here you go. Made 2023, 12/25, and 12. They're making these on Christmas, guys. Holy jeez. And let's see when I ordered it. I bet you money they made it to order. I feel like my internet is super frickin' slow right now. And it shouldn't be. So I ordered this on December 10th. So yes, they literally made these for my order, which much appreciation. I mean, they are like a custom cable brand, but these aren't like audio sound where like an audio you can choose the brand of connectors you want. Often you can choose the type of braid on the cable, the type of, do you want paracord, do you want blah blah blah, blah. Like, you can customize them. These are realistically, these are your two options. There's 150 centimeter and 250 centimeter, and then you can get it in the 22 AWG with black or the 24 AWG with blue. So it wouldn't surprise me if they made these, especially being that they're the only ones that offer cables for the M1ST and the MV1. Oh yeah, this is thick boy. Kittens better not go after this. It feels like a really quality cable. Like whatever cloth they used here, which they say is black rayon cord cover, that it feels much more like a shoelace or a cord on a hoodie than paracord, which is what you'll often see on like headphone cables or keyboard cables, etc. You know, and here cobalt blue rayon cord cover. Yeah, this thing's actually pretty hefty. So it may end up going with the MV1s, just because even though they're actually lighter than the M1STs, they clamp to your head a bit more because the cups are deeper. And you got a bit more support on them. Like I don't know if the head to end's actually bigger, or if it just because it's mostly because of the cups because they're deeper. Yeah, this is a much lighter gauge cable. Yeah, much lighter and more flexible. Kitten, you cannot go after this cable. This is a no cable. Even though you've actually eaten the ferrite off of or the cable splitter, she's bitten through the heat shrink on my splitter on the audio sound one for my R70Xs, which is frustrating. Yeah, this is way stiffer. Like, oh, compared to. I'm definitely gonna try this one out first. But for example, though, let's go to 2x here. Here's what you're paying for, and you guys are gonna be like, "Whoa, that's insane." But plug it in, screw it on. That is what you're paying for. Look at that. Doesn't come out. And why is that important? Because besides not coming out, right? The other thing it's not going to do, and then you can see the Wagnus logo there. The other thing that it should prevent it from doing is doing what it did on this, where it makes the circles, where the actual like internal stuff that's grabbing this from it just spinning freely is actually putting marks into the connectors. You know, like these circular, and it's actually digging into them. Like if you use your nail, you can actually feel like it's actually cutting through the gold plating on here and into the actual connector, right? Kitten, yeah, you're way worse than King Arthur. Yeah, you are. You I mean, like, not every day do you want this much attention. I come home and she immediately climbs on me and wants pets and attention. Before I even started this with you guys. I'm glad I bought the two different ones. See, this is the manufacturing process extreme edition. Manufacturing process new one spectacular edition. I sure, yep. And even here's the thing, even in their pictures, you have to option. It's more money to option the quarter or the 4.4 millimeter balanced, because by default, even they are going to ship you a 1/4 inch, because that's the stock configuration of these. They'll ship you a 1/4 inch jack on it. So, boy, this you don't even feel like it's there. Like it's seriously. And then it has, no brand. I like that. No branding on the 4.4 millimeter jack. By the way, here's the other thing that you do getting the Wagnus ones, and I even found there was one other brand that I found that got this connector. But they would not use. This is the same brand, same very high quality brand that custom made this connector. Makes this one as well. If you notice, they're in the same style. So if you hold it up without the branding, you can see pretty easily that those are the same style connectors. And all the other brands that I at least saw, I mean, like, I say all the other brands. I found one place that was using this connector using an existing cable and putting this connector on it, and I saw another brand that had supposedly a 4.4 millimeter screw-on connector of a different style. It wasn't gold plated, it was nickel plated, and they were using them, I think, on stock cables as well. Or like maybe modifying like these, like they weren't like like they were available as repair parts but completely out of stock. So like this realistically was the option. I was trying, like I said, I was trying my hardest, and even working with Audio Sound, they're great. Because also, like I said, audiophiles love the M1ST and MV1. That is one that theoretically, if they had a cable for it that properly locked on it, they could sell a bunch of. So I'm trying to help them out, and because I want one too, and I really like their cables. They're really high quality. Like I said, they worked with me on getting ones designed for headphones that didn't exist. Then when one of mine actually, like, I don't know if a solder joint broke or something on my first one for my R70Xs. They actually paid to ship it back to the UK. And repaired it for me and shipped it back. They were surprised on how much shipping from the US is. By the way, guys, for those international viewers out there, shipping internationally from the US is ridiculously expensive. I want to say it costs $35 to ship a cable back. You know, like from the US to the UK. And they were like, no way, we have like $20 budget. Not that they wouldn't do it, but they did not believe me that it was that much. And I actually, it's very easy in the US. You just go to the Postal Service on their website, you type in where you're shipping it from, where you're shipping it to, package weight, and it'll give you the quote that they're going to charge you. And they're like, oh, geez, I didn't realize it was that much that to ship from the U.S. international. I'm like, yeah, it costs us nothing to get stuff into the U.S. internationally, but to get it out, and you know, like most times we don't pay fees to get it in. Like a lot of places, you're gonna have to pay customs and that sort of stuff. We really don't. There's some tariff stuff you know, like since Trump put into place and stuff like that. But that's really it. But getting stuff out. Like I've shipped entire keyboard, well, not entire keyboards, but like PCB keys, like still like without the chassis, basically to the U.S. for like a bit over $10 each. I can't even ship that. Even back then, I couldn't even ship. I knew the cat kicked out another thing. Where did she knock that? Here, my brand new batteries went up flying, guys. I knew I saw her hit another thing halfway across the room when she was going after that. But yeah, it's crazy. And they did cover me. They're like, well, they refunded me the normal amount they had, which was $15 or $20 that they had budgeted for like warrantying cables and stuff like that. And then they're like, hey, when we get it, we'll refund you the rest. And they did, and all was good. And they're like, okay, well, I guess we're gonna have to budget in more for shipping the U.S. I'm like, yeah, it's just stupid. Shipping internationally out of the U.S. because I used to do that all the time for custom keyboard builds and that sort of stuff. This is a beautiful cable, this blue one. Very lightweight. Let's try the black one now. This one is a different kind of way. Like this feels sturdy. Like this black rayon cable seriously feels ridiculously sturdy. These little cards that come with them that say what the cable is, I will retain those. I have no reason to keep the little baggies. Looks like they just have their UPC codes on them. But these are really cool. They're actually printed on Canon. Like it's like 3x5 or whatever the metric version of 3x5 photo would be, or it might be a 4x6 equivalent. Plug this in, screw connector on. And then you kind of have to, like, once you screw this on, because on the MV1 it's kind of recessed, you do have to tweak this connector a little bit because you can't get enough torque on it really yourself. So like that actually loosened it right there. So if we put it here and then tighten this, and then see, it's actually unscrewing it. There you go. We're free. Unplug. Plug that in. Tighten this down as far as you can. Oh, it's not actually. Hold on. There we go. There we go. Tighten that down as far as you can. And give her like a half turn. That just tightens it up a little bit more. Let's give that a wear real quick. Oh, that's heavier. Okay, this thing's like burly. Probably at work this will be better because it's just a bit more robust. To be truthful, I would probably recommend getting not the Progress, the VOSTOK, this Extreme Edition. Now you're probably gonna have to be a little bit more gentle with it, but yeah, this thing's definitely got a lot more heft to it. I think you would have. Yeah, you got more cable noise as well because this is a rougher braid on the cable. Like if I go like this, I can hear that in my left ear cup right now. Whereas this is a much smoother braid on here. Let's see what we got. Wanna be with you. Wanna be with you. Whew. Alright, well, works as it should, works beautifully. I'm happy I have that bit more length than what's on this cable. I can already tell, even with the black one, that is the, you know, it's the 150. I think that's my optimal length there. I know I went a little bit longer this last time on the, instead of like, I might have gone 150. Trying to think on the, new R70X cable, just because I found that like if I turned in the chair too much, it would pull it, and I'm like, I need to at least be able to turn in the chair. This more burly one, like I said, could also very well be better for work. The reasoning there would be that I have a sit-stand desk at work. Actually, we all do. So, like, it'd be a little bit more durable for that sort of stuff. I'll have to try it since, like I said, the M1STs are a smaller pair of headphones. And we'll have to see. Because I can definitely support this cable with the bigger ear cups, slightly bigger headband. But these are lighter, so they actually benefit. Like, the less you can feel, I've noticed that with the R70Xs too, because they're pretty big headphones. If you get a really light cable on them, though, you don't even notice them on your head because they're so well supported, so lightweight. Etc. But yeah, if you guys want a cable for your MDR-M1STs or MV1s, this is the cable. It is not cheap. I will admit that outright. It is not as I drop my iPhone SE 3. It is not cheap. But you really don't have another option, sadly. And I can tell you they are very quality. Like, they are made very nice. I can already tell that based on their website. Like I said, less customization than I'm used to, but they seem to make like 1 or 2 versions of a cable and knock it out of the park. For some of their more common cables, it seems like they even do like seasonal offerings. I only learned about them specifically because, like I said, they were the only ones I could find anywhere, for a that has the balance connector on the headphone side, like the proper screw-in balance connector on the headphone side. And it turns out, like I said, they worked with what was the brand here? It doesn't say on this one, actually. It says on the listing on the website, however, with To-pura Hannbai. To-pura Hannbai. And if you look that up, like, you find the history behind it, and that's how I found like other places that used this, or like people who had made their own with it. But like it's that, even that company with the connector is a very, like, I'm not gonna say they're hand making these, but they make some very specialty audio and electronics connectors, like for specific markets and specific products. So I'm very happy I can finally get these. I'm probably gonna run the blue one here, and then when I head into work beginning of next week, I'll bring in with me probably the blue and the black. Give them a shot. I have a feeling the black one will go because it also will better match the aesthetics of the M1STs, and I think with the heavier cable, a sit stand desk sitting out a bit more, I can deal with it being or like it being a little bit more burly, a little bit more robust will help it in there. But I know it took us a long time to get to these, but if you guys have an M1ST and truly like it, I recommend the Axi pads. Some people say they ruin the sound. There is a sound difference between the M1STs with and without the Axi pads. Even the Axi admits it. However, the comfort level difference between at least my I don't know what you call American ears, based on European whatever. I'm not as European, but I have bigger ears than the Japanese market has, right? Isn't it like the little dangly part too? I don't believe that's standard, or it's less common in like Japan and like Asia. I have that, and I have fairly big ears. Like I'm also just a bigger person in general, and just like without the Axi pads, they're uncomfortable, and there's just not enough room in the ear cup and with the headphone. And yes, there's that slight difference, but the comfort level on M1STs, once you get the Axi pads on it, is like comfort level 9000, and this is like comfort level 9001. M1STs or MV1 stock. This is one headphone where, Axi will not have to make an aftermarket pad for that. That is, minty fresh, beautiful. But yeah, I'm happy that I finally have the correct. I mean, like, not that this is the incorrect cable. Sony in Japan, at least, this cable is not available in the U.S., but Sony in Japan with the M1ST actually recommends this cable for it. But like I said, from my experience, either it's not a very durable cable, They did make a better one of these that's like audiophile grade. That's got like bare copper, not bare copper, but you can see the copper and it's like braided. From what I heard, like it's basically the same connector on this end and this end with some fancy stuff in between, and it's not really all that better. There are knockoffs out the wazoo of that higher audiophile grade cable on AliExpress. Don't buy it. Like I mean, maybe if you want to give it a shot or whatever. And technically, anything that has a 4-pole 3.5 mil, you can jam in here. I know some people, especially with the M1ST, have had cables made up. From my experience, though, what's going to happen is because this connector in here, and especially the M1ST, which is meant to be like a studio or like a monitoring live audio headphone. I don't know if the connector in there is just stronger because I think they assume that you have the screw-in connector, so it can really bite onto it and make a proper, in case this gets a bit corroded, it can like really bite into it. However, if it's loose in there, and I've been running this cable since I bought the M1STs, I bought this with it, right? It eats away at the actual connector. And even Audio Sound was worried about, because I was like, hey, would you consider still making me a cable that plugs in there? Because they're worried about warranting it, because without the screw-on connector, there's a decent chance that just basically using it is going to break and or wear out as you can see on this one, break or wear out the cable. So they were worried about warranting it in that state, because it's not really like that. With it spinning, you can definitely see where it's leaving marks in here and stuff. And I would have loved to get them to make me one. Maybe if I can track down connectors myself eventually, or this becomes like Sony's new standard or something, like is the 4-pole screw-on 3.5 mil. There more options will become available. And if we can find some and send them their way, or maybe Switchcraft, who makes the 3-pole version that works with microphones and other Sony headphones, maybe they'll make a 4-pole version, and they can get those over in the UK. And that would work great. I love their stuff. I love all the customization. They make stuff perfectly for me. Like if you lay out, I want it 1.3 meters instead of 1.25 meters. They got you. They even helped me find like connectors that still fit in the R70Xs, because I couldn't get the original screw-in ones anymore. And they even said like, hey, we've had issues with those actually breaking because the two pieces of plastic would actually separate and snap off. And they found ones that would still fit up in there. And not need to be retained. You just saw them on my new cable, and like perfect. And then they heat shrinked, so like we measured like down to like millimeter length how far it would insert. So they basically stopped the heat shrink right where it inserted it like perfectly. Like I measured for them, I think even with either one of my more accurate rulers or even a caliper, and they nailed that. So love their product. I will say Wagnus, because that is what is being featured in this video. This is my only exposure to them, and it's only because I like had to. It really does seem like a quality product. These connectors, especially that I don't know, from what I can tell, is they worked with them on it, because that's like the connector they use, and they wanted to make a cable for the M1ST at the time, and nobody made it, so they reached out to the company they work with making connectors for it, and had them made, which is like very Japanese thing to do. You'd never find that not never find that in the US, but like it would take like a crowdfunding, blah 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 blah. In this case, it's just like we saw a demand in the market. We already work with the brand that can make it for us. Let's just boom make it. So, and I found a place that might sell me these. Like I said, it was like that blog. I couldn't get this end though, and it just looks way better, like put together. Like this is a final product of a cable in its current state. Let's get this blue one back on here, and I'm gonna get rocking back out. Was listening to some Zazen Boys. They just got a new album coming out. They're slowly trickling out tracks on the digital side, before it releases, and just jamming out. So hopefully you guys could deal with this little gal's interruptions, Paisley Marie. Yeah. And you have a good one. I know it took me a while to, I buried the lead like 15 times. But we got there. We got there. These cables are not cheap, but if like end game headphones for me are the M1ST and the MV1. R70X is pretty much the only other one that's up there. And people are like, end game, they're not $1,000 headphones, right? But how they fit around the ear, like if you guys have ever had a studio monitoring headphone, they're very flat to the side of your head, and they just fit just around the ear enough for an average sized person to cup it nicely, and they're not in the way. That's what the M1ST is, except comfort improved all around because it's friggin' 30 years newer. And then the MV1 comes out right there and just is like, hey, you want that but comfier? Slightly bigger. They're thicker, see? And the headband's a little bit bigger. But then you want that open back? Boom. Soundstage on those, I will say I've heard a little bit better. But like it has the Sony sound, but open back, which is bellissimo. They're like, for me at least, because I like that reference studio monitoring sound. They are the only open back for me and how I listen that has rivaled the R70Xs. The R70Xs are still a bit more smooth, but especially because those are made for the 360 audio or Atmos audio essentially. They do have better spatial positioning, and some of these like properly mixed tunes, like listen to Zazen Boys' "I Don't Want to Be With You" and just or Soil and Pimp Sessions, something family. My brain is it's the first track on Brothers and Sisters. Artists view all. I gotta scroll a lot. Soil and Pimp Sessions. Brothers and Sisters. Love Immediately. First album on Brothers and Sisters there. Great imaging. I Don't Want to Be With You, despite being almost a fully electronic track, it's got... and those MV1s really, really bring it out. That's what I just tested it with quick because I had Zazen Boys up, and I'm like, that's a jammer of a track too. Like that single album or the single, it's like an EP they put out for that. Amazing. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions on these, let me know. Like I said, I'll try to drop some links. I can link to the website. You're probably gonna want to buy it if you're at least outside of Japan, not from their website directly, but from CD Japan. It is listed on CD Japan as a product. Like CD Japan seems to be working with Wagnus. It's not a forwarded product, like their proxy items would be. Like they're not ordering it for you through them. Wagnus has listed them, or CD Japan has reached out to Wagnus to list their items on CD Japan, directly. And as you can see by the manufacture date right there, 12/25. I ordered 12/10. Made on Christmas, guys. Little Christmas present myself. That's literally what it was. I'm like, hey, I finally got a little bit, and I am. This guy's frustrating me. Let's just do it. Finally bit the bullet. I've been watching these probably, and like I said, I've been working with audio sound for 6 months plus. Been looking at but it reached back out when the MV1s came out. What was that? Late April. May, somewhere around there. So, good 6 months. I've been like hemming and hawing, and these existed before then. I knew about them, and I was like, but I want, I audio sound, love them, want their cable, but on here, and it just didn't happen. But this is a great option. So, hopefully we'll see in the next one, and maybe I'll have some more feedback on these, or different audiophile equipment, or any of the other EDC mouse computer videos, like right there, or tool videos. Here's a snap-on electric screwdriver with the toggle trigger. Beautiful. And hopefully we'll see you in the next video. Comments down below. You can find me over on Twitter, Instagram, all the socials, and we have our Discord for discussions, and we have a little audiophile section for all you guys out there. You don't have to talk like an audiophile. It could just be music, etc. It's like audio sounds channel. I should rename it instead of audiophile. It should be like audio beep boop sound channel or something. So have a good one as always. Peace.